What's up guys, this is Mike, aka Mike the Jeepster, and today's video is going to be a very short video. I'm going to be installing a transmission temperature gauge. The transmission gauge I picked was from Autometer, part number 3357. And the reason when you want to do this, you want to monitor your fluids in your transmission, or the oil in your transmission. You want to monitor, especially when you're doing some off-roading, wheeling, some rock crawling. You want to check that temperature, make sure it's not overheating or exhausting your transmission. Now my earlier video, this last video I posted, was about me installing my transmission cooler system. That's the reason why I'm installing this. I want to check the temperature and see what's the difference with me on the highway, and then obviously when I'm doing my off-roading. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna be pretty much installing this gauge. I picked the location right here, and I actually got this idea from a Jeep forum. I'm gonna put it in here. I'm just gonna mount it in there flushed, and then obviously all my wiring is in here, so it's gonna be easy for me to hook it up. It takes, show you real quick. It takes 3 wires. It takes a ground. Obviously there's ground in there. It takes power, and obviously it takes the wire that goes down to the sender unit. Now the power and my ground will be inside the shifter plate, because that's all where everything's at, and it's going to be controlled by a switch. Again, I don't need it when I'm on the highway. It's only going to be used when I'm on the trails. Okay, and then the last wire is going to go down to where my transmission is, and I'm going to hook it up to my sender. Now there's a couple ways of installing the sender. You could install it on a transmission line if you want, or you could hook it up, or install it on the transmission pan itself. Now I picked the transmission pan itself because I think it will get a better reading in there, but again, you could do any way you want. I just chose that way. To do it that way though, it's going to take a little bit more work. You'd have to drop your transmission skid plate and your transfer case skid plate, and obviously drop your pan and all your fluid out of there. Take your pan to a local, well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my pan, the transmission pan, to a local shop, and I'm gonna have them weld in a bung so I could screw in my sender in there. Also, having that, you'll be able to down the road, if you want to change your transmission, you can drain your fluid through that same bung, which is pretty cool. So that's the way I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna wire it up that way. So let's go ahead and get started. First step is gonna be removing this plate. Get all the wires out of the way, so when I drill my hole, it won't cut any of the wires. So as soon as we remove this, we're gonna make a hole here, and drill a 2-inch hole here and stick our gauge in there. So let's go ahead and get started and do that. Alright guys, so I got the hole drilled. As you can see, it's a 2-inch hole. Now before you start mounting the gauge inside that hole, you want to make sure you wire up everything. 3 wires, 1 ground, obviously 1 to power. Now you could do 12 volt ignition, or you could do like I'm doing it, just hook it up to a switch. On 3, the last wire will be down to your sender. Now the sender, obviously, all I do is just the wire. All I did was just drill a hole down right here where the console is. Now to take the console off, there's a bolt here, and I think there's another bolt thing right here where my fingers at. I don't think you can see, but that'll be the second bolt, and then this whole console just pops up. And all I did was drill 1/4 hole here, came down into underneath, and then ran the wire in a heat sink tubing, or heat resistant tubing to the sender. So just make sure that's protected by that. And then that's all 3 wires you need. And then, like I said, I already wired up 2 wires here. I still need my ground, which obviously it's going to be there and somewhere in there, and then I'll be able to put that in there and secure it. So let's go ahead and wire this bad boy up. Now I'm not going to really show you the wiring, because it's real easy. If you want ignition power on this Jeep, the easiest way to power it up will be your lighter. Your first one. Now this one's always going to be constant power, even with the key ignition not on. This is the only one that it's only on when the ignition's up. It's on. So if you want that to come up when your ignition's on, hook it up to wire it up to this 12 volt. You gotta take this off and then come underneath and then power up to that. That's if you want to do it that way, but I'm going the easy way. Like I said, I just need it just for the trails. I don't need it for on the highway. So, and in the ground, you can find a ground in here somewhere. Again, you could probably even ground it to that switch or to that lighter too. I mean the cigarette lighter if you want to do it that way. So let's go ahead and wire it up. Again, I have another video that shows all this, how I wired it up too, and I'll leave it a link in the description to show you how I did that too. So I'm gonna go ahead and wire this up and get that closed and have it mounted and be ready to go on that part. Now on the underneath, I already took it to my shop. I already did the transmission. I swapped the transmission pan already. The good thing, if you're gonna do this the way I'm doing it, I would suggest do it when you need a transmission oil change, so you can do it all in one time. I went ahead and just I used my same transmission fluid because I have recently changed it out. I did change out the filter just to be on the safe side. And I think topped it off. I bought some 2 more quarts just to top off. I did have some spillage down there. I replaced the transmission plan, got the gauge on. I'm sorry, the sender on it. Let me show you guys. As you can see, there's the sender right there. I already bolted it, or I secured it already. It's ready to go. The guy I took it to, he welded it for me. It's just a local exhaust shop down here where I live. He didn't charge me that much. I think it was like 10 or 20 bucks, something like that. So right now it's not leaking. I don't see no leakage or anything like that. Make sure you torque down that transmission pan down to specs. I think it's 80 pounds, something like that. Make sure you check for leaks, turn it on, put it in gear, just check if any fluid is dripping or anything like that. Been having it on for maybe about an hour. I don't see any leakage or anything like that, so I'm gonna go ahead and start putting on my skid plates back up, and that should be done under here, and then we can go ahead and check that gauge. But for the meantime, I'm gonna wire that up, and I'll show you guys how that look when I'm done with that. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, as you can see, everything's wired up. Everything's secured, and I cleaned up a little bit just to show you guys how it's gonna look here. Now keep in mind guys, this is the way I set it up. There's other ways you could do it. For my application, I have everything in here. All my wiring, my grounds are in here, so I just ran all wires into here. Now for the bulb that's on the gauge here, I just spliced it into my light indicator or my shifter here, and then obviously my sender, I just ran it down to the sender on the transmission pan itself. Now if you guys want this gauge to come on when you turn your vehicle on, I would suggest running a wire to ignition, which would be this first cigarette lighter on your dash, not the second one, because this one's always constant on. So you want to run it to this one. That one turns on when you turn the vehicle on. So if you want to do it that way, or you can run it to another ignition wire inside your dash somewhere. But that's pretty much it. So the way this works, all I gotta do is flip the switch here, and my gauge will come up. Obviously the vehicle's been turned off, so it's not gonna read, and I'll drive it to make sure here down the road, see if it actually it's gonna check my or monitor my temperature in my transmission pan. But that's it. That's pretty much it. Everything looks good. Looks clean. Real easy mod. And like I said, I got this idea from a Jeep forum. So this is not my idea, but it's a pretty cool mod. But anyways, that's pretty much with this. If you guys have any questions on that or anything, a comment or anything, just post it down below. Again, that being said, this Friday I have a trip I'm be going to with my brothers and some friends. Down to Marble Falls, Hidden Falls Adventure Park. We'll be there Friday and Saturday. If you guys know any of my subscribers know that place, I'll be down there. So if you guys want to hang out, let me know. We like to meet at the Jeepsters down there. So that being said, I'll see you guys next week sometimes. I'll be posting videos of that trip that week. So again, I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. If not, then it'll be sometime later this month. All right, well, I'll see you guys later.